Well, I'm back for part two. And it ain't too bad out here today. Looked like this yesterday, but it was probably near 50. I think the sap was running yesterday. I've been probably about 25, 26 right now. It's cold enough to freeze it up, but not enough to make a heavy crust. But yeah, like I said, yesterday it's probably warm enough for sap to run. We used to make syrup. My brothers did for a couple of years, and I don't know if they just don't have the ambition anymore. They figured it out as too much work. But we're not doing it lately. Neighbor down the road here is, but so now that I talked about the other two changes I made. Now, the first change I made, I changed the difference. Planned change was in the feeds, what I was mixing. What I didn't plan on, because like I said, I don't want to change too many things at one time because you can't know what's making the difference. The haylage changed on me. Now it's not really any different than what I was feeding, and a lot of times I do mark on the bags where I get into different fields or something. For some reason last year I didn't do it a whole hell of a lot, but I did do it on here, and I had a mark on the bag for what's all in this part of the bag. And this is a tall fescue orchard grass Timothy mix, and there's a fourth grass in it. Can't remember what it is offhand. It's a seed mix from Seedway called 550. And like I say, it's just grasses. There's no legumes like clover or alfalfa. And it's really no different than what was in the first half, this actually, what I fed out already was the end of the bag because I bagged it that way. But that was several different fields. It could have been anything. Some fields I got brome in, some fields I got canary grass. So that kind of jumped around, but basically it's all the same stuff. The only thing difference with here is I know exactly what this is. It's 1 and 2 year old seedings. This is second cutting, and so I know this is probably going to be a little bit better quality. Some of the other stuff had a little more weeds in it, but overall it's probably not that much difference than what I was feeding. But as you can see here, I mean, all it looks like is lawn clippings, but it's some pretty nice stuff. Got good smell to it, good moisture and everything. So like I say, I don't know, this kind of throws off what I was trying to figure out anyhow. And but like I say, the biggest change I made to the feed was I cut the grain in the feed. Like I mean, that's how bad I'm hurting. I can't afford the feed bill. So I basically cut the amount of grain in the mix in half. So this is the corn silage here. Yeah, I don't know how well it's going to show up on this camera. Like I said, it's made some really nice stuff, but there ain't really a whole lot of corn in this either. But I mean, it's really kept really good and everything. But like I was saying, that I can't afford the feed bills. So what I did was I cut the grain in half. And this is what gets me. This is something that I probably should lost milk on. But what I did too was I cut back a little bit on the haylage and put more corn silage in to try to make up somewhat of the grain I took out. So like I say, overall, I probably should have lost milk. That's kind of the wrong thing to do. But what's been going on here for the last couple of years, it doesn't matter what amount of grain I put in the feed. At one point, I was putting twice as much as grain in again, and I wasn't gaining nothing on milk. You know, I cut them back here before. I changed levels and other things around, and nothing really. I mean, it either wouldn't change or drop something. There was no significant increase. So that's why I say I took took half the grain out, added more corn silage, and took out some of the haylage. So I don't know, maybe this might be a little bit higher in protein to help make up for some of the grain that was being taken out, and putting more corn in is making up some of the energy in the grain. But between that and what I did down there at the milk house with the milk hoses, like I say, in over a 3-week period, I've seen about a 2-pound gain. Now, like I said, mentioned there in the last video, there's 2 ways that you can make more money. You can increase production, or you can decrease expenses. Now, I could change something in this feed. Like I say, if I added 50 cents worth of grain more to the mix, expecting more milk, I got to see at least 50 cents worth of milk more. So if I get 60 cents worth of milk more off that 50 cents, I'm making 10 cents more per cow per day. So I'm making more money. It also works the other way. If I take out, say, 50 cents worth of milk or grain, but I only lose 10 cents worth of milk, I'm making 40 cents more per cow per day. So that's kind of what happened here. I took, like I say, half the grain. I don't know offhand exactly what it's costing me. The price of grain here keeps changing. I don't figure it out all the time. But like I say, I cut back the cost of the feed, but didn't lose any milk. So that's, well, actually, like I say, I gained milk. And so, like I say, I don't think it's taking this out. You know, there's other factors besides protein and energy in the silages. You know, this could have more digestibility to it. So they're actually getting more nutrients out of this silage than they were out of this silage. And that's another reason why I could feed less grain and gain more milk too. So like I say, I'm still at a loss exactly what happened. Because like I say, I wasn't expecting this one variable. And like I say, overall, for what I did, I probably should have lost milk. But as it worked out, that was the other change I made. But it still gets me back to why I can't change something and see a significant increase. You know, when I first started working with the nutritionist through Cargill, you know, we change something to feed and we'll see 3-4 pound gain in a couple days. You know, at that time, over a 6-month period, he had me up 10-15 pounds of milk, whatever it was at the time. This was back in 2012 when I started working with him. And that's the problem I have here now too, about figuring more of this out. In our area, the infrastructure base of the dairy industry in this, I mean, this is just going away. I mean, we used to have 3 independent John Deere dealers within 50 miles of me. Now all 3 are under one corporate entity, you know, 20 store system, 22 store system, whatever they're up to now. It's all the same store. You know, we used to have 4 feed mills around here. Now there's only one local. There's another one probably about 25-30 miles away. And I've heard that, you know, they're a smaller mill, and I heard that they're thought about closing. You know, it's used to have 5 milk haulers in the area. Now we only got 2. So I mean, we keep losing. And that's what I'm finding out here with nutritionists. The guy, since I was having problems with the guy from Cargill, we weren't making any gains, so I tried through AgriKing, which to me is a mistake. I've tried them before and I should know better, but never seen no benefits from them. Then I tried from another mill called Centera, and this guy actually was making components. We were seeing the benefits in components, but could never see no milk. Well, now that guy left Centera, and he's actually at the local mill as the manager there. And I talked to him there the one day, you know, whether he's going to be balancing feeds out and stuff. Well, he doesn't have no feed program. I mean, that was all Centera's property, so he had to leave everything when he left there. So he said he was going to talk to a couple of feed companies that they deal with over at the mill here, see if they could get a feed program. Never heard nothing back, and he hasn't, when I talked to him there the other day, he didn't have any more information. As far as testing silages, you know, like I say, that was part of the deal with Cargill. He sent the samples off. AgriKing, they sent the samples off. I know they used to do it over here at the local feed mill. When I talked to him about that, it's like he has no idea if they do or don't. He couldn't find any sample bags around. When I test milk, it's through Dairy One. They can do forage samples. But I didn't test last month, and she's not coming until the end of this month. And so it might be a while here before I can get some silage samples, figure out. And like I say, if I would get the samples, so I can at least get the digestibility, the protein, the energy, and the ADF and the NDF, that even he could look at them. And, you know, they do have formulas where they can figure it out. You know, computer programs will get you more accurate, but we could get a close enough estimate to see if we're anywhere near, or if something major is out of whack. So, I mean, that's one thing I'm going to have to check into and work on here yet on that to figure out. But yeah, like I say, so far I've made a major cut in expenses, but didn't lose any money, so that helps to be on the right track too. I mean, it ain't about being the biggest and making the most milk or making the most bushels per acre or something. It's all the bottom line. So I mean, what the hell's the difference if you're putting out 25,000 pound herd average on a cow and you're only making, say, $2, but you could change things around, put out 18,000 pounds and make $3 per cow. You know, it's kind of an exaggeration, but I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to sell the most to make the most. So, I guess I gotta go see if the tractor's gonna start. I never plugged it in today, and I don't know if it's gonna start to get this feed mixed. So, I guess. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you later.